Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining in. Oh, it's been a while since we've been on some Destinies. Hi, Raven. Thank you for joining in. I've not checked out any of week 2 yet, so I'm going straight fresh in to the new stuff that's out to give my fashion. All right. My day was good, thank you. Yeah, hope you're doing okay. I did get a build going earlier. However, I am just I'm very aware that I'm more full than I should be, but oh well, fine. Put a couple of things in the vault. But I was just like, you know what, I think I prefer a bit. Shoot them every. We can get rid of Red Dead. Check those later. Just, this is what happens when I was just doing some farming, but forgot to put things away. But yeah, I have made a build for Liar's Handshake, a nice punchy build. However, I don't have the not so colourful hair man right now. Just bleach blonde at the moment. With the intention to re-dye it at some point. It was I dyed it all peach and light pastel colours and stuff for a wedding not long ago. But they just washed out instantly, and I've been so lazy to do it again. But yeah, nice punchy Liar's Handshake build. But I don't have any of the ornaments. So it just looks like, because, you know, it can look alright. It not particularly great, that ornament. This one's pretty nice. Pretty a sleek ornament. But I'm just I'm hoping that if this build is good enough and I want to commit to it, that I'll use some of my silver left to get that. But I'm just I don't really use this, and it's got a trash default look to it. So I'm just mad with how I look at the moment. My fashion game is not great. I thought you were going purple today, Shadow. Is that a similar vibe of just my hair's ready to be dyed, but I just haven't got around to it? Hi there, Alex. Thank you for joining. I was about to say hi, Lucas, because I was reading my name, Lucas. I was like, hi, Lucas. It's like, no, that's not how things work. Be purple on Saturday. Cool. The Duskfield exotic. I haven't checked out that exotic. I never really used Stasis, so I've never really remembered what that one looks like. But I haven't done, I've literally just logged on to Destiny for streaming. The Wiggly Worm emote. Oh. That is tempting. Minimalism. I mean, it's a fine shader, but I've got a lot of ones that are white, silver, and black already. Isochronal nanofluid. Oh, okay, no, I don't like the renewal grasps anyway. The look of them, but oh no, I don't want just some fucking PC fans strapped to my shoulders. If okay, I've got 24k. I should just commit to things more, but there's a reason I've got 24k. So that I can save up for things like the Dragon Ghost. Okay, that's very tempting. Keep meaning to get into Destiny. It's one of those of it's really understandable that people don't. It is a absolutely fantastic game at this point. But you've got years and years and years of baggage and content and getting a little rainbow light while you. I understand why people just look at it and are like, oh, that's a fucking wall to penetrate to get into Destiny at this point. So I do sympathize with people that are wanting to get into Destiny at this point and are just like, the fuck am I meant to even get started? Like, what the fuck do you do? It's really not very accessible. And as far as I'm aware, they've made new steps yet again to make things more newcomer friendly. I know that they've like got more things that are just like this, for example, where it was just like, hey, you're a new light. I got just given like a couple of exotics and some 1920 armor and just got told like, yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like, I know that it's been rough for years and I can't imagine being like, here's a couple new armor sets. Like, well, not new armor sets. Here's a couple of armor sets and a couple of exotics is really going to help that. Fair enough. Yeah, I can't say much about, like, well, there's loads of games to play, and I'm also the person who is, you know, playing through Mass Effect again currently. But yeah, it's like, for me, it's like, oh yeah, I was talking to somebody, because we recently finally got kind of like a 6th person in to be a potential 6th person for our raid group in Destiny. And it threw me straight into this new mission for Nessus, and I jumped out just because I was like waiting in my starting soon screen and stuff. So I'll go into this. It just kicked me straight into this mission for like the new Echoes episode thing that started today. But yeah, I was talking to them and it was like, oh cool, like I guess you haven't really got many exotics, or at the moment they were like, oh, I like using bows but I haven't got a good one yet. And we were like, oh, you know, you could go try and get a Trinity Ghoul, and it's like, I think like Trinity Ghoul was in Xur for the weekend, but then it's like, but now they've introduced like reintroduced strange coins, and they don't have enough strange coins to go get it from Xur yet and just buy it. So they were looking it up, and it's like, oh, that's going to take me hours to grind out, and it's like, and that's one exotic of like, if you want to guarantee getting that one exotic that I'm recommending, it's like, well, you can try and just get random drops and hope that one of those random drops is one of the one exotic that you want out of like hundreds of potential drops. Or you can like, with that bow specifically, apparently there's like a specific quest line or activity you can go to farm it or to get it eventually or whatever. That's just the ship I like to use. 3 hours fighting them. Yeah, that's the thing is, like, I can't remember DMC3 bosses very well, but, like, I know that they can be tough.
What can you tell us about the anomaly that landed here?
Whatever it is,
Yeah, the R-Wing is just the current ship I am flying. Some of my others that I've currently got stored that I use, like, for example,
if you reconnect me to
my Alliance Scout Frigate, where it's like, I don't remember the names of it. This is the one that looks like a miniature version of the Normandy.
For now, Osiris
And I've just, you know, shaded it in my nice pretty colours. But yeah, then there's also like, you know, my little pyramid ship.
I am properly motivated.
I also made sure it wasn't black and painted in like nice bright colours. There's a little like one that I use for the Dawning, which is like the Christmas winter event. So yeah, it's not specifically that we all fly our wings. It's just that's my nice one that I like. Like the nice, cool, sleek one. So yeah, current build, other than using this fusion rifle to try and get kills on it, to get the catalyst and power it up, like, other than that, my build is basically just, hey, punch things. I'm essentially I'm like I was about to say a brawler. I guess like the closest class-wise, I'm like a monk, I guess. I'm like, what do you do? I punch things. Like, got it. I punch and dodge. I'm not quite barbarian. I'm not like super tanky heavy hitter like a Titan. Again, stuck on a staircase. Good start. So yeah,
Hey, before we go, could you
failsafe being back is like...
They put me in quarantine.
This
after
is
the
like
impact.
year 1 Destiny character. Year 1 of Destiny
Once
2
their local
character.
infrastructure is destroyed, along
Which
with their
there was
enviable
3 years of
autonomous
Destiny
bodies,
1 before they then
connectivity will be
were like, do you want
re-enabled.
Destiny 2 where you reset and get none of your exotics and shit? And okay, that was like, you know, more of a push from Activision than it was Bungie apparently. Activision of being like, hey, you've got to make sequels. You can't just keep one Destiny game. But yeah, all the way back to like year 1 of D2. Like, hey, we've got a planet we haven't put any story missions on for a while. We should reuse that for the next seasonal content, right? Like, I get why they do it, obviously. Like, we've just had a massive new expansion with a brand new location and enemy types and raid and story and so much stuff. It's like, I get why the seasonal stuff is like mainly always like reusing content in clever ways. So yeah, it might be confusing for anyone that's not played Destiny 2 of what I'm doing right now, but it's just a classic like punchy arc build, but on Prismatic, the new like subclass where you combine different subclasses powers together in like a cool new way. And it's just basically getting melee kills makes my melee stronger. Getting melee kills resets my dodge. Dodging near enemies resets my melee. My exotic powers up my punches. I also go invisible for defeating targets. It's a lot of fun. Beowulf did. Oh, I guess quite down easy. Yeah, I mean, that's usually the thing with bosses in games like that, isn't it? But they've got the one thing that you can either is meant to be intentional bullshit, or they've got that one move that you can never fucking get right or learn the pattern of or whatever. That's the thing is, even though I'm not even shooting right now, it is still just one of the most, like, nicely just tuned and good feeling shooter games that I've ever played. It's like, the person that I was saying that, like, we got newly into it was just like, they're not really into the story or anything because they're just kind of like, well, there's so much going on and I have no experience with any of this, like, 10 years worth of story. I'm not that bothered, but hey, the shooting and the gunplay and stuff is like really fucking good and the powers feel really good to use. Like, I am shooting things with the triangle. I'm not really using this when I should be. I'm trying to farm kills with it. I should be just killing easy targets. But hey, I like punching.
The Vex quarantine has been broken. I'm free. We can now survey
Where are we
the
going?
impact site and reintegrate the data array. My Calamity is your tourist destination. Funny how that keeps
we can't
happening.
summon.
Osiris thinks that this anomaly could be paracausal.
Like how Carl's like, so what's different in Destiny 2 nowadays? It's like, oh, there's a triangle gun in it now.
Prediction is
Like,
their
got
whole
it.
thing,
Cool.
and they never saw this coming.
It is very funny, like, just always talking about, you know, using the term shooter when I guess, like, it's like a first-person shooter, MMO mix. That, like, you know, it's hard to pick a specific genre, but it is very funny when I'm just always talking about how, like, man, Destiny 2 is such a good shooter. It's like, so what do you do in it? Well, I just punch things. And then we put our grenade inside of our gun and make a big gun. That gave my grenade energy back? Huh. That's an interesting... Okay. I've not really used this gun much, but it's like... Oh yeah, consume your grenade to make a super shot. And then I consumed it and basically got all that back. Ooh.
There, the impact site.
Oh!
It doesn't look like a crater.
I was like, ooh, colors go inside.
Punched right through the planetary
No,
crust.
turn back, Lucas. Turn back.
Well, yeah. If it transferred kinetic energy like a meteor, I'd be a fine cloud of particulates right now.
Which supports my initial hypothesis that this is super
Also,
weird.
let me know
And
how
there's my
the
data array.
audio is compared to me, because I've not actually streamed Destiny in a while, so hopefully it all sounds okay audio-wise. It's just... I have usually got my Destiny volume quite low, because I like listen to podcasts, and I don't do podcasting, I listen to podcasts while playing. Don't worry, Carl.
There's a firewall locking me out. I'm gonna need a Vex energy signature to hack the system.
I can kind of,
Severed head will
you
be
know,
ideal
pay attention to two
for
things while
leasing
doing
out
Destiny,
Vex
but
at
not
your earliest
not
convenience.
actually streaming myself. Audio sounds fine. Cool. Yeah, because I normally, like, I've just kept it at, like, full volume on my OBS, because I normally have all my volume set at, like, half volume or below anyway on game. There's, like, unless story things are happening, you know, normally a lot of the time it's just, oh, I'm, you know, doing the same content and, like, farming for better rolls on my loot and shit, so it's, like, not stuff that I need to be listening to anything specific too much.
You just
Oh, my shit.
ripped its head right
Brain.
off. So cool.
Now shoot the beam through both nodes at the same time.
Ah,
Bypass the
okay.
firewall.
The beams. Thank you, failsafe. Like, you know, in some video games where people are like, oh man, I walked into the room and they just gave me the answer and it's so annoying. Like, it's really annoying when I was playing, like, Horizon, for example. But when I'm just like, what the fuck does this thing do? And failsafe is like, just shoot through the fucking holes. Shoot through the holes, you idiot. I'm like, okay, thank you. Yeah, no worries. Obviously, thank you for joining us. Uh-huh. Go and kill some more DMC bosses on our behalf. I genuinely thought for a second it was like, hey, go and defeat, disable the Vex noodles. I was like, no, it has like campaign, story, stuff like that, yeah, so pretty much like 90+% of the content is stuff that you can just like play by yourself and get match made into a random group and stuff with, or just do solo completely.
Initializing
Like all
reboot.
of the story stuff you can just do
That's
solo. But yeah, there's like, depending on what you're looking for, there's multiple like different things, like there's campaigns and storylines and stuff, there's like seasonal story content, there's multiplayer content, there's stuff that can be multiplayer or solo content, there's PvP, there's like another mode that's not overly like utilized anymore, but it's like PvP, VE. So there is like a heavy mix of like different content that is soloable, and you know, a lot that requires multiplayer but can be match made in with. So like, even as a solo player, you can get through most content either on your own or just by matchmaking. Yeah, that gives back basically all of my grenade ability when I get killed with it. Again, like, I've always recommended Destiny in terms of, like, anyone can pick up Destiny and think like, man, this is a fun game to shoot and the abilities are cool and it's got cool world and characters and stuff, or like, you know, even if it's literally just the gameplay that you're interested in. But the issue is always that, like, it's got a really difficult onboarding problem where, like, just there's so much content and so many things to, like, learn over time and stuff that it's hard to recommend a new person in terms of just that kind of side of things.
Captain, please bounce the Vex laser off the panels until they
I'm
hit the
trying.
nodes.
I can't. Give me a new one. Yeah, Kate's a really cool character, and like, unfortunately, as we mentioned in the Wiki Weekend stuff, like, he spent half of the time being out of the game because at one point he couldn't contractually do it, and instead of, like, you know, saying he was off-world doing another mission for a while, it was like, oh, we killed him.
And
Like,
I am
right.
inundated with critical
Could you not have just, like,
repairs.
put him on the sidelines for a
Believe it or
bit?
not, that's
Just said he
the
was
thing.
off doing some other
Can't
shit while he had
reconnect without
things
a
to
little
do.
awkwardness. Right, Captain?
Bit of an extreme measure that I think they learned from over time, because when, like, for example, the person who voiced, like, the Warlock equivalent leader, like, okay, I'll have to look the actress's name up, but she got recast. And instead of, like, deciding, oh, we're gonna get rid of someone, like, we're gonna kill off the character, they just recast them this time, and it's like, yeah, that makes a bit more sense. Fucking hell. Let me just Google someone's name ring. Bit rude. Come on. I mean, the fight scene with Uldren and the Barons is cool as fuck, and also just the way that they like, kind of do it in this as like a jokey kind of reference is that when Cade comes back in the DLC, Uldren's character, who is now technically the Crow, they have like a rematch essentially in like a jokey way where they mirror it. Gina Torres, that was it. So yeah, they had the actress Gina Torres was Ikora, and instead of being like, well, Gina Torres can't do the role anymore, so we're gonna kill them off like we did Cade, it was just like, or we could just recast them. And people, like, obviously noticed, but no one cared. It was like, yeah, I'd rather you keep the character than just kill them off like you did Cade. Like, it was very unnecessary. I will give a bit of a showcase then, if you're curious how it works. There we go.
The Vags are calling up their premium
Obviously,
units
let
to
me
stop you.
explain the build stuff with
There must be
Prismatic
something very
when
interesting in
we're
these
not
pits.
fighting this boss. But, it is not a complete just mismatch. It is its own subclass with a set amount of abilities. But it's probably just like the strongest subclass in the game right now, because it just lets you do so many things. It also has its own like secondary, like almost super bar thing that you can see going on underneath, where you can see that like there's 2 bars underneath my super bar that are kind of building up from the left and right. That then makes you go like Transcendent, which is exclusive to Prismatic, and that gives you like a massive grenade that's like, for me it's like a like an ice and fire grenade that makes like an ice and fire tornado. For Warlocks and Titans it's something different, but yeah, you get like damage resistance, plus those grenades, plus grenade and melee ability recharge rate goes like through the roof. So the fact that alone that just get that complete unique ability that no other class gets makes it really fucking strong. And obviously they introduce like the powers to slowly over time throughout like the rest of the campaign and let you unlock some of the extra bits and build crafting stuff like post-campaign and stuff. It's not just all thrown at you like it is in this one explanation I'm giving you right now. So yeah, it starts out with like the stasis half, making like an ice tornado, and then goes into the fire half to do damage to everything that it's slowed down. And then if you start getting kills during that mode, you then extend the duration of that mode. Yeah, it's cool. I've really not figured out how it's telling me to use. Okay, it's just telling me where. Yeah, it's Bungie. So like, that Destiny is the reason that they had to get a new company in to make Halo instead of Bungie. Like, Bungie moved on from Halo to make Destiny. So yes, there's a reason why it's like one of the best shooters around is because it's made by the people who made fucking Halo. Good Halo as well. Super on the heavy on it. And
Connection reestablished. All systems operational.
You've played every big expansion since Taken King. Oh yeah, I mean, like, if you just buy like the regular, just like without all the seasons and everything, and without, like you just buy the base version of the final shape, like there's so much content in it, and if you've played every single big expansion, even if you just go through all of like the campaign and the extra missions that they've got going on and like some of the cool new abilities you get to play around with and stuff, like I would personally say that if you've played like all the other big expansions to some degree, then it's probably worth at least like finishing out the story and seeing how it goes down.
Complete. I am now analyzing data from the time of impact, which I will share with you.
I do argue that like Reach was still very good Halo, but I think going back to Reach, I played like half of the campaign a few years ago and kind of fell off it, and then was like, oh, but I really liked ODST at the time, and then was like, I don't really like ODST very much anymore. However, in Reach and ODST, I still really enjoyed like the multiplayer of Reach and the firefight in ODST and stuff like that. So there was still some really good content in those games. I just don't think I like the campaigns of them as much as I remembered. Whereas, like, I went back a couple of years ago and played through Halo 3 with Carl co-op, and like, that was still an absolute blast to just go through Halo 3 co-op together, and like I think just they nail the absolute like size and spectacle when it comes to Halo 3. I mean, that's been my experience with most of the time I've played Destiny, is like I played up to Forsaken. I played completely on my own. Had nobody to play through. I played like played through the story of the first year at my mate's first, because like I was just poor and the game came out. You know, when Destiny 1 first came out, I played the beta over and over again, but it was like, oh, it came out and people were a bit iffy on the story, and I just played it with my friends, and then we basically spent that year just like passing the controller back and forth playing PvP at his. And then when the Taken King was coming out and I was like, oh, this looks like it's gonna be great, that's when I got into like Destiny Year 1, like at the very end of Year 1 going into 2. That's when I actually paid it for it and got my own account and stuff. And yeah, I've been like just trying to look for a proper group. I've literally just managed to convince a 6th person so that we would, in theory, we haven't even done one yet, but in theory have a full raid group of friends rather than getting randoms in. Like, I managed to convince Jenna to try it when Forsaken came out. So that was like 4 years of it on my own. Another maybe like 4 years of it where it was just me and her playing it. And then we finally got like a couple of other friends, and then over the last couple of years we convinced like 2 more people to start getting in. And yeah, like majority of the time I've either played it on my own or with just Jenna. So yeah, like all of the time I've been doing like raids and stuff like that and dungeons, nearly all of it for me has been just doing it with LFG people. Some of my like favorite raid memories are like going in and helping out a group of like randoms, or helping out a group that needed one extra to help with like teaching and stuff. And like King's Fall is the one I've done way more than any other raid, and like I happily go in and help Sherpa people through that quite often. And it's really fun sometimes to go in with randoms and experience that. And yeah, sometimes you get assholes, sometimes you get people who just immediately leave after you fail one encounter one time. Sometimes you get people that join a group which says like mic required, and then they never have a mic. So sometimes it's not great, but a lot of the time it's been a great experience with Destiny playing with random. It's certainly a mixed bag, but it's certainly more positive than not. I always think like Destiny, at least in my experience, like I've definitely had a friend who's like tried with randoms, and she said she's been treated a bit more weirdly because she's a woman, and she goes on mic and instantly gets treated like a little bit strangely most of the time, is how she kind of sums it up. It's like normally not nasty like in some other games, but it's normally like people trying to be flirty and weird with her, or people not talking to her the same way. So like, you know, caveat that for me as a guy going in and like having a you know, an adult sounding, low sounding voice, it's been a mostly very positive experience. I've seen it plenty of times where like, you know, someone's joined in and has been a woman, or like clearly younger and not been treated as well. But I definitely think it's one of the lesser like toxic games I've been involved with that I've ever encountered like random people on. Like that friend has also played a lot of Overwatch and says that Overwatch is a lot worse than Destiny when playing with. Yeah, she says like the shit that she gets on Overwatch is so much worse and so much more toxic. So at least as like a comparison, I guess, like she said her experiences have been way better on Destiny than Overwatch. So yeah, this is the Prismatic subclass. So basically, it still gives you like options of what super do you want to pick, what abilities do you want to pick, what aspects do you want to pick. But with Prismatic, instead of being like, which, you know, Void super do you want, you get the Golden Gun Marksman, Science and Squall from Stasis super. There's a new Arc super that you get on this one, where you throw out like a blade 3 times and teleport it and do a big AoE attack. it's pretty fun for just crowd clearing, but it's not the best like DPS or then you got the Deadfall Shadow Shot, which is just the one shadow shot that lasts a bit longer to debuff. And then you get Silk Strike, so you get 5 different supers, you get the 3 different dodges, you get multiple different jumps, including now Blink, which Hunters haven't been able to do since Destiny 1. You got like 5 different options for different melees, including, you know, the nice combination blow that I'm using. You get a grapple and 4 different grenades. You get 5 different aspects from, like, most of them are old ones and one of them's a new one for Arc as well. And then a bunch of different fragments that are brand new. So, like, yeah, the Titan Void Battle Axe is the new super for the Titan, and then the Warlock gets, like, a Song of Flame, which gives, like, a super Hawk grenade that goes out and blows people up, and gives you and all your allies increased regeneration and stuff like that, and restoration around you. So it's kind of like a bit like Well in the way that it supports people, but it's not just you sit down and get healed, it's you all run around together and get load the grenade energy back and melee energy back super quick. And it can create like a crap ton of orb, everyone else together. So yeah, it is still restricted in the same way, but the amount of shit that you get, like if I just go to like show off, say for example, like I normally play Night Stalker otherwise. So you get Night Stalker, you get 3 different supers, you get 2 dodges, 3 jumps, 1 melee, like more grenades admittedly, 3 different aspects, less fragments, so like you can just see that the amount of options for build crafting that you get in Prismatic are just way wider, way more varied, and it is totally a hey, we're giving you like a bit of every single one of the other 5 subclasses all. Yeah, blue. Mime time. Guess I'll take it. It's fine. Fine. Not putting myself in a trash bin though. One of my new favored emotes that I recently acquired, just sitting in the trash like piece of trash I am. Okay. Oh yes, the classic Sunbracers has unfortunately been nerfed a little bit this season. That's the classic, one of the like to this day best. I think it still is one of the best builds, to be honest. Even with a little bit of a nerf, but just like, yeah, you get the melee kill, which gives you like infinite grenades for a few seconds, which then you just throw everywhere and melt everything. As much as it's been buffed, I think it's still pretty strong. I think they've just kind of... It was one of those of like, do you want to do one of the like best builds, like unquestionably? It's like, that was one. So, it sucks. It's like the couple of different Warlock builds that I'd made for Jenna to use that have been nerfed and been brought back in line a little bit for the final shape. Oh. See, I'm not as much as I am interested in this new story.
Initializing now.
The thing I want to know is where the fuck is the thing that I can get my exotic class item? Because they said that was going to drop week 2. And we haven't had exotic class items since Destiny 1. And I'm just like, gimme.
My creation. I've never been a guest before. Thank
Oh my
you for
God.
having me.
I mean, I could like sit there and have a conversation with someone about like why Shadow the Hedgehog is cool in a dumb way, or why like the game is like bad but fun to laugh at. But the idea of like someone genuinely thinking that the game is great is like, oh please.
Limited
no.
analysis indicates it's an alternate tessellation of
Like the one thing that I'm very excited for is like,
Put it simply,
there's
I may
the
have
Sonic
spent centuries
Generations,
in the
but
infinite
it's
forest, but I'm still a
got
titan.
extra like Shadow content in it. I'm like, that's coming out
voice
soon,
singing
or
into
is
the key.
dropping. I don't know exactly when it's coming out. I
Kind
presume
of corruption
soon.
in the system. A cascading
It
failure.
is the year of Shadow
the
after all.
opposite. It's emergent behavior.
According
The
to
machine
Sega,
version
it's the
of
year of
rebelling
Shadow this year.
against authority.
And
You can relate to that, right, Osiris?
Like,
I'm sure I don't know what you
just
mean.
This
yeah,
is
like
the dawn
I'm
of
really
the
excited
new
to try the
age.
Shadow content in that game
Even the Vex can
because
see
it basically looks like,
For the
hey, what
first
if we made
time
some of the Shadow
since
content
Black
from
Fleet
Shadow the
arrived,
Hedgehog and Sonic
I feel
Adventure
like
2
anything is
play
possible.
well? I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool because I'm down for Shadow and I'm down for Shadow content. Those games are bad. I love Sonic Adventure 2. I am massively in on that game,
For centuries,
but it's not
the
good.
witness pushed us
It
toward
does
the
not
final
age well.
confrontation. A battle we won.
One of my
great
favorite
cause.
games as a kid. I have a great affinity for that game, but man, it is... Time did not do it justice.
The
It is
future
jank as fuck.
suddenly ours again. Now we finally have time to grieve, to remember those who built a
yeah.
future.
I'm looking forward to
they'll
Keanu
never see.
Reeves. I think that's a great shout for Shadow.
And as old companions disappear, new friendships will form.
Right? Oh, the Colonel. That was the little chicken on the table. That's the one we really care about.
They'll remind us that unity is our greatest strength. Perhaps one day, after the city is safe, Osiris and I will return to a dream we thought we'd lost forever. To make our own exodus into the stars.
Oh, that's cute.
and
I was just
explore
gonna
the
joke like,
universe
oh, they just want to bang, and it's like
together.
they are a couple for anyone that. Like, I was just like, yeah, to go back to the tower and just get it on without having to worry about the universe getting destroyed. It's like, no, they made it cuter than that. They made it that they want to go and explore the stars together.
That's a wonderful dream, Saint. One I share.
Must be nice to have someone to dream with.
Like, fuck it.
Instead, I will vicariously share in your affection.
I mean,
Yes, well,
I want to say everyone's
first we need to
favorite
identify
like
this
gay
new
couple
threat.
in Destiny. I think.
Come, Guardian. Let's secure what Failsafe needs.
So, you know,
to finish
happy
our
Pride.
analysis.
Yeah, they kind of slowly hinted at it over a few seasons of like, are they besties or are they together? And then like eventually it was like, oh no, they're just together. That's cool. And I apparently managed to make it so that these are overlaid by one of them, not two of them. How did I manage that? I thought I'd put all of the flag gifts to the very, very tip top. How did I even do, like, give me one sec. Right, we're back. Let's try that again. I've got to press each. There we go. Now all the little pride cades, they stand out above over all other gifts now. Yeah, like it's really cool that just, you know, it's not really made a big deal in Destiny. there's a bunch of like cool, you know, alien relationships going on, or like LGBTQ plus community like relationships. I'm not sure what different relationships are in Destiny a lot of the time, but like the fact that it's like, oh yeah, they just introduced that Osiris and Saint were a couple, and it was like, hey, yeah, they're a couple. Like, it wasn't really made a big deal. It was just, yeah, we confirmed it, and moving on. And they refer to it when it makes sense, like that, talking about like, oh, I wish our future together would, you know, could happen and stuff. But it's like, it's not when people are sitting there going like, oh man, they're shoving it down our throats and into our faces. It's like, no, it just exists in the game, like any other relationship does. Oh, that's awesome. Congrats to your mom. Yeah, it's like just always cool when it's like, I think it's cool anyway to be inclusive, but like I especially think it is even nicer when it's just treated as a regular fucking part of the world, and it's not necessarily downplayed or highlighted. It's just there like a normal fucking thing.
So much time here instead of on Nessus in my wreckage.
I'm thrilled to be working alongside you again.
And it's like, you know, that's kind of the Destiny universe of characters anyway. Whether it is diverse bunch of different races or like genders or sexualities or alien races, like everyone just kind of exists and it's there. It's like, cool. And, you know, I also just like the fact that Bungie is very both celebratory of their community and their diversity in the game and stuff, but also just like the different amount of support it does and charity events it does for like things like Pride and you know, cancer research and things like that. They're always just like a really wholesome developer and community. Like I think like every single year in Destiny 2 there's been like incentives to donate towards their like things to celebrate Pride, to go towards, you know, charities and stuff like that, and you get like in-game incentives of like emotes or different ghost shells or emblems and stuff like that, depending on how much you donate. So it's very cool. Like the fact that not just do they incentivize all these different things by talking about it, they also give you like in-game rewards that are special. Oh, lovely, yeah. I'm like, what have you got going on in your life that you really need to be angry about other people just fucking existing? And not even other people exist, just the idea of a flag to celebrate other people existing in a fucking shop. Like, not fucking hurting you, move on. Like, does anybody else being gay really fucking affect your life that much? No. Or it shouldn't anyway. Doesn't matter, like, who gives a shit if you're not gay? It's gay people aren't actively hurting you, like, why are you pissed off? And if a flag can hurt you that much, then you need to reevaluate your fucking life. Yeah. Like, okay, so who's the one actually causing any harm here? Is it a flag? Or is it the person trying to, like, aggravate and assault people? Like, maybe you might be the problem. Maybe the one trying to cause fights with strangers might be the problem and not the pride flag. Breach executable completed. Track that. Like, I'm like, cool, yeah, I know that you've got a new, like, seasonal thing for me to do. I know that you've got this new event where I could do that, but I'm like, I want to find out how to get the exotic, my exotic cloak. I'll get to your shit with failsafe later. Like, tell me how I get my cool cloak. Still Urg. Maybe I'll give it a quick Google. Google. Yep, this is what I mean, is like, it's very funny being on this side of the Destiny community where people are constantly complaining, like, man, you know, it's so frustrating to, like, lose content every year. Like, a lot of the seasonal, smaller stuff gets reset every year. So, like, the stuff I was just doing here, where it's, like, the smaller stuff. The campaigns, they... nowadays they stay in. The Destiny 2 original story was admittedly removed and has not come back. And then, you know, people kicked off so much that they were like, okay, no one has been playing it for years, but okay, we've removed those bits of content that we shouldn't have done, but like, we've learned our lesson and we won't do it after, like, I think it was like the first two, the, you know, first expansion and original story, and then they were like, enough people kicked off. They were like, we've got the player data here, none of you people are playing it, but okay, we will not do that again. But like, my point being, people are pissed off that content gets removed over time, and some of it stays and some of it goes, but there's so much content in this game that for anyone that's not used to the game, looking at a menu where it's like, oh hey, here's all the things you can go do, and then on each one of these things is like another map full of things that you can go do, or like more fucking nodes of different things you can go and do. And it's like, there's so many things in this game, and it's so incomprehensible to anyone that hasn't been playing this game for years. And there's so much fucking content. It's an unbelievable amount of game in this game. And then, like... and then people are going, man, like, I can't believe that they got rid of the seasonal content that I played once and never touched again. It's like, they know who's playing or what, and they were like, they originally felt justified in getting rid of the original story, because they were like, hey, no one plays it anymore. No one. Like, no fucker plays it. The foresight they should have seen, though, is that now this means people come into Destiny 2 and they don't have a starting story to begin with. So it makes the onboarding even worse. So they have found a nice balance in, like, the smaller, like, you know, season content goes away, but the bigger content stays. Like, I think that's a nice balance, but... yeah, it just frustrates me when people act as if there's nothing in the game, and that they got hard done by because, like, an expansion they paid for went away one time 5 years later. So Destiny 1 is still a game that you can go play. Destiny 1 is got like 3 years worth of content. Admittedly, like, I presume if you want to play the expansion, you'd still have to pay for them, but I guess they'd be like super dirt cheap at this point. I'm not sure. I just bought them when they released. But Destiny 1 is totally a game you can still go and play to whatever capacity you want to play it in. It's not like the Overwatch 1, Overwatch 2 thing, where like Overwatch 1 doesn't exist. They just replaced Overwatch 1 with 2. It's like, no, there's still year 1 to 3 of Destiny 1 all like there to go and play. I wonder if anyone has figured out how to get exotic class items yet. The new week started, what, like 6 hours ago? If people have figured it out, I can't notice anything online yet. Okay. It would look like people still haven't figured out. Ah. Okay, so I have to do 3. Overthrow bosses. Okay. I'm gonna attempt that then. Sorry, I was just trying to do my little research of how to get this, but I mean, I definitely wouldn't say that jumping into Destiny 1 would be a bad idea. I'm sure you can get it super duper cheap. The advantage would be that you get to at least have like a starting story that establishes the game a little bit for you. Admittedly, the campaign in Destiny 1 didn't begin great. Like, it doesn't really tell you what's going on at all. Whereas if you start Destiny 2, it's free, but you don't even have the original campaign there anymore, even though that was a decent campaign. So to get access to, I think, any of the campaigns, you might have to start paying for stuff to get any story campaign. I'm not sure whether any of them have been made free or not. Again, this is like stuff that is just a... There's plenty of videos out there of like, you know, best ways to like get started or best way to start Destiny 2, etc, etc. But I'm just not the right person to answer it very well. But I think there's like advantages and disadvantages to both. But it would at least mean that you have some kind of story content. You get, as I say, you could probably get Destiny 1 super cheap on sale or, you know, secondhand or whatever. And like, you could just blitz through that campaign and get a feel for how the game is a little bit and stuff, but I think you'd probably, more than likely at this point, be better playing Destiny 2 from the get-go, even with the potential difficulty story-wise, like getting into a story, because it's going to feel so much better. There's like 7 years worth of gameplay improvements on it, and it just has a lot more, you know, stuff in it. It's immediately free. It just might be worth like going and watching a quick YouTube video of like what's the first thing I should do when I go start Destiny 2. Get a primer from someone that has a bit more of an idea than I. Oh no, of course, yeah, I'm always willing to give advice, but I will always, you know, say that there are content creators out there that have actually like made a job for themselves to go and kind of do a bit of research into what is good for like free-to-play players and stuff like that, so I can always give the advice that I'm aware of, you know, and use my own knowledge to help. But yeah, definitely there's other people that have been way more helpful than me and actively tried to make videos to help people get into D2. But also, yes, Red Hot Fancy question. Exotic class items have like 2 different columns worth of exotic perks. However, they've said that it's basically going to be weakened versions of exotic class, like exotics perks. So for example, one of them is that you can get the Star Eater scales, which is like get orbs of power while your super is full, and it basically overcharges your supers for you. That is going to be a column 2 perk, I think, on all 3 classes. But it will be some kind of weakened version of the effect that you get on the actual proper exotics, so that you're not getting 2 full exotic worth of perks. But it sounds like you're getting like kind of 1.5 exotics almost, kind of, you know. You're still getting 2 perks, they might just be a little bit weaker than what they are on the official. But yeah, basically the way they broke it down is like, get 2 perks, get 8 perks that can roll in column 1 on it, 8 random perks that can roll on column 2, so it's just, hey, go and, you know, do some farming for exotic class items. Go and get the ones that you want, and some of them are going to be insane if you can get the right rolls on them. But I think it's going to be random enough where you're not just going to do the mission once, get the exotic class item and be like, oh, I'm done. Like, you're probably going to want to try and think of a few different strong combinations, and then, you know, go and sort out multiple different roles and stuff. And it does sound like it's going to be crazy. You're probably going to want to have a bunch of different ones with different combos on them, have for different situations and stuff. It does sound super, super strong, just not, maybe not like completely broken. Breath of the Wild, I still say is my favorite game ever. I think, like, it's hard to really say that Tears of the Kingdom probably isn't actually my favorite game ever, but I like to take my time and contemplate on these things before I commit to, like, having a proper answer, but it's one of those things of, like, well, after years of thinking about it, I can definitively say Breath of the Wild is my favorite game ever. And then I just preferred Tears of the Kingdom as a sequel. So, like, yeah, it probably just straight up is my favorite game, but I'm like, to be slow with making definitive statements about what my favorite things are. Those two are definitely, like, probably my 2 favorite games ever. It's incredible what they did with Breath of the Wild, and then it's absolutely insane that they actually made a game that follows it up well and like actually builds upon it in a really impressive way. Like, if you told me that they managed to make a game that blew Breath of the Wild out of the water when I played Breath of the Wild, I'd have just been like, no, they didn't. That's a lie. I think Tears of the Kingdom may genuinely make going back to Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom may genuinely make going back to Breath of the Wild quite difficult. With, like, all the new stuff that they added in there, it's kind of going to maybe feel quite limiting to go back to Breath of the Wild. Which, again, just to say any of this shit when Breath of the Wild is as impressive as it is insane. Yeah, that's why I'm trying not to be specific, because I presume a lot of people that have, you know, if you've only just played Breath of the Wild, I presume you might not know too much about Tears of the Kingdom, so I'm trying to stay vague about it. But yes, it's absolutely crazy the way that they managed to build on that game in a very substantial way. If you'd asked me when Breath of the Wild came out, like, oh, do you think they can do much more to improve Breath of the Wild? It's like, I don't know how they could. And then they did, because they're just insane over at Nintendo apparently. Oh, well, that was well done. Launch my super as they've got their shields up. That punch knocked down? Oh, it did, yeah. Yeah. It's just, I say, I like, just completely incredible game. It's insane that they decided to make a sequel, but I don't think it takes away from how incredible Breath of the Wild is. Like, I think it might be weird for people to play Tears of the Kingdom first and then go back to Breath of the Wild, but the fact that Tears of the Kingdom exists and you don't know anything about it is probably the best way to have ever played Breath of the Wild, is then, you know, you've got Tears of the Kingdom just to be able to follow up on it.
Blight is pushed back. Such a feat gives me hope for the reclamation of Torobatl.
Is that your end goal, Empress?
Yeah, the secret enemy
Sol
spawn.
has many worlds, and I would be glad to have you stay rather than wage war over old losses.
It is a matter of pride.
I'm sure other emperors of the past would have said the same, but I also don't see them here. I see someone who was more than her pride.
Is it like a secret boss?
Regardless, I'll be by your side.
You just made it sound like the boss spawns after the boss. I mean, that's 3 very strong games to have played in the series. Boss spawning. Secret bosses after the final boss. I mean, also, yeah. Also strong picks. It's hard to, at that point when I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, yeah, those are also really good games. In my head, I'm like, wait, hang on, which would I say are bad picks then? Like, how many would I actually say are bad picks? And, like, I don't know. Like, I don't think Skyward Sword is the best game in terms of, like, being one of the only Zelda games you play. I think that works a bit more for people that are already, like, kind of all in on Zelda. Maybe it is this? Oh! The secret keeper of the Witch Queen has vanished. Vanquished. Got this person. Like it. So yeah, you're just going to do this in each area? However, I mean, Hyrule Warriors had mixed reviews, but like, that is considered like a spin-off, as opposed to like, it's not a game that's like The Legend of Zelda. Like, there's stuff as well, like some of the other spin-offs, like Triforce Heroes, Four Swords Adventures. Like, there's definitely stuff like that where, and like some of the like the DS games, like Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass. I don't think they're particularly the best. Especially in terms of like to be one of the first experiences you have with Legend of Zelda, but like, yeah, Hyrule Warriors and Age of Calamity are both like not considered part of like the main series of games. They're just like little Musou spin-off games like Dynasty Warriors. I mean, I had never really played a Dynasty Warriors game. Or Dynasty Warriors, whatever it's pronounced, but like, as a big Zelda fan, I thought they put a lot of like love and care into the like Zelda characters and world and references in that game, and I had a lot of fun with it. But I can also see why people don't like that type of game where it is very button mashy and monotonous. Kind of like, to me, I just enjoy the, hey, it's cool to play as Link and kill hundreds of enemies in one go and big dumb attacks, and like see the, you know, the number of kills get big and see crowds of enemies like die instantly and stuff. Like, I don't mind that type of gameplay, but I can see why other people would not be in on it. Like, it is admittedly very much just go in and you have a few combos per character and you just kind of repeat the same combos and get a lot of just, you know, kills on big swarms of enemies. That is the majority of that gameplay. What? Thing? So there's 3, like, not, again, you know, not technically part of, like, the Legend of Zelda series, where it was, like, there's 3 CDI games that Philips made. Well, Philips published, at least, for the CDI. And they're, like, well, maybe it was 2, and it was meant to be a 3rd one or something. But Zelda Wand of Gamelon, and another one. I can't remember the exact name of, but yeah, the CDI games. I think there was maybe originally meant to be like a Zelda game, a Link game, a Ganon game, and then they ended up making just 2, if I'm remembering correctly. But yes, bad games, bad game. But the one thing that you can always kind of like, as a fan of Zelda, just keep as an argument is like, well, technically they're not official like Legend of Zelda titles. Like they're just weird spin-offs that like a different company made on. Aren't technically anything to do with Legend of Zelda, but they did exist, and it's like, Nintendo did approve this project and endorse it. Faces of Evil, that's the one, yes. For the life of me, I could not remember the other. I think, like most people, I want to just forget that those games are. I didn't even, you know, have the rough time of ever playing them. I'm glad. I hopefully won't have to. We've chatted before about like potentially playing them as a joke for Tunic Tuesdays. When we run out of every single other Zelda game that I'm working my way through, but it's one of those things where now they have released a different company has released like a game that gameplay wise it's not like an actual Zelda thing or anything, but gameplay wise it's, hey, what if we made one of those games we kind of took the piss out of a little bit and made it a game that was actually good but kept all like the same awful style of animation involved and stuff. So I can't remember what the game was called now, but the developer is literally called CD, as in like, you know, a CD person, like a seed plant, and then I as in like eyeball, but obviously the developer is called CDI. It's like the nice little play on words of just, oh yeah, we made a jokingly not bad CDI game that's based on the Zelda CDI games. Yeah, I mean, those are the only 2 names I see at the moment for like the fan cast and a link of Tom Holland or Timothy Chalamet, and I'm like, are you just trying, like, are these the only 2 smaller, younger men that people can think of in Hollywood? I guess. Like, neither of them, I don't think either of them would be necessarily bad picks. They'd just be a bit obvious and uninspired. But like, of course, yeah, like, again, who are the 2 first men you think of in Hollywood when you think like, who's an actor that's a bit like smaller and slender and quite young still? There's plenty of other people that could be cast, but it's like, obviously they're just like, hey, they're big popular names that everybody knows. And as we know, they just cast fucking Chris Pratt as Mario because he's popular, so couldn't not see it happening. Certainly would never surprise me. Redirect this energy back to me. Can't wait for it. True. If they do the right thing in my eyes and make Link at least a not very verbal character, if not a completely silent protagonist in terms of, like, you know, just like Link with, like, grunts and stuff and screams and yahs and all that jazz. Like, that's how I kind of, like, would almost like to see them do it, is like just the grunts and the yahs in like a semi-comical way, I guess. But I think that it's gonna be that Link just doesn't speak very much, if not he speaks outright. I mean, I like the Link memes of like that side of things. I never watched the actual cartoon and can't imagine it was very good. You know, I ironically like the whole, well, excuse me, princess, but if I was actually watching that as a fan of Zelda as a kid, I'd probably have been like, what the fuck is that? But yeah, I imagine they are going to make sure that Link talks a lot. Again, I don't think it's the right way to do it, but I just think they're going to make it like any other fucking film, any other protagonist or any other movie. If that wasn't the case, yes, they would need a very good physical actor. Which I presume Tom Holland would actually be good at. Because, like, you know, his fucking experience as a kid growing up, like, his main role was fucking playing Billy Elliot. That's what he, like, was originally known for, was being, like, one of the Billy Elliots on the fucking West End or whatever, and he's, like, a ballet dancer and, you know, not proper stunt performer, but like has experience doing like stunt work and stuff, like, so I presume that he's good at acting with his body. I would assume that that comes in line with being a dancer. Or at least makes it more likely. Essentially, yeah, like, I mean, his, like, his first audition for Spider-Man, he literally, like, flipped into the scene and was like, hey, I can do shit like this, like, I'm good at just being able to just fucking flip my body around and stuff, like, good way to, clearly a good way to stand out. And I think, you know, at the time they joked about him, like, being a bit, it was a bit stupid of him to, like, have done that, but at the same time, hey, it's memorable. Like, it's one of those things that when they do all the interviews nowadays with them, of like, oh man, wasn't it so cringy that, like, I was, like, flipped into the scene and was like, hey, I'm Spider-Man, like, but hey, he got the role of Spider-Man, so in hindsight you might think it's cringy, but it fucking worked. Or didn't stop him, at very least.
got a wave of enemy reinforcements coming your way. Reload and refocus.
I'll be... It is very funny with this build how I'm able to just like basically turn my brain off and stay alive, which, you know, not the hardest level activity or content or anything right now that I'm playing through. Pretty basic patrol stuff, but like the fact that there's barely been a point where I've even been like threatened, let alone at low health or anything. Say a lot for the build. But Patrick's there. Yeah, it does sound like all of the stories that we've talked about previously over like weekends of Pat Beam and stuff that Carl's told me about, like the stuff that Robert Patrick did for that role is just like, sounds like Robert Patrick is like slightly insane. Or at least went slightly insane in terms of like how dedicated he was trying to get that role. Of like, just went all in on being an absolute fucking as close to a robot as he could in his performance. Man was dedicated. There we go. Yeah, it's that scene where he's like doing the shooting where it's like he wanted to make sure that he didn't blink, but he like blinks like one time in the shot and he gets really fucking annoyed that that's the shot that he... But even still, like, even when you know, like, oh yeah, he did blink that one time doing that shot, even in that shot, it still looks terrifying and robotic. Even if he does, like, blink one time, there's still, like, just this complete unnaturalness to his performance. Well, like, just dodging and punching and dodging them. Like, that's the thing, the enemies right now, we're like, literally just not keeping up with them. They're not spawning in fast enough. They're catching up to the motorcycle stories. Not necessarily like the most impressive one because they were clearly like shooting at slower speeds for the sake of the scene and that, but that's the most terrifying sounding one. It's just that you turn around as a stunt performer and the man on his feet is trying to like, is literally catching up to your motorbike. It's like, that would be terrifying. But again, like, yeah, I'm sure for the sake of filming they were going slowly. But still, just being on a motorbike and a man catching up to you would be scary. It would just be a bizarre experience. There we go. Takes 2 whole fucking ogres to take me out. Focusing me down. Mainly because I just tried to go and not be careful about it. The moment I get one down, I'm just like fling myself with the other one. Oh, Robert Patrick's in Peacemaker. Oh, okay. Yeah, I never watched Peacemaker because I hadn't got around to watching the Suicide Squad. And now that I've watched the Suicide Squad, I do want to watch Peacemaker, but they're just always on fucking, like, HBO, which is a pain in the arse to get HBO content over in the UK. It's like, you have to be, like, on the Sky now, shit, like jazz, and it's terrible. You know, the pricing models, and I don't want to fucking pay for that subscription service ever, because it's terrible. So there's just like a HBO void in my, which I don't think like Peacemaker has anything to do with HBO, but it's the same deal. Like all the DC stuff goes to where the same stuff, the HBO stuff goes in. So, oh, that's funny, yeah. Playing Peacemaker. Yeah, I've been watching The Boys again. Like, trying to kind of watch it through again. I've already seen the first 3 seasons, but like, when I was talking to Carl for the Wiki Weekends videos, I was like, hey, I only ever watched each season of The Boys once, which means it's been like, what, I think 6 years or something since I've watched the first season, and I just don't actually remember much of it anymore. And when we were like talking about our favourite clips and things, I was like realising how little of the show I actually remembered at this point fully. So yeah, I've been working my way through that again, because I think by the time I'd watched like season 2 and 3, I felt like I remembered enough of the show, but now we're on season 4, I'm like, it's been a while since season 1 came out. Can't I kill you? Oh, standing in puddle. Oh, do I have to destroy the crystal while it's stood inside the crystal bands? Maybe I can't be stuck in the circle? Okay, no, that still activated it. Got it. Right, okay. So, I should probably have not been in there and died, but got the job done, didn't it? That's got a trap some of them. Yeah, got 2 of them in. So when you kill the crystal, just anything that's inside when that barrier goes down dies, including if you get stuck in it. Got it. Come on down, Crystal Town. Come on, everyone. Come on. Come on, let's... Oh, shit, I'm gonna die. I'm trying to round them all up, but god damn it. Too slow. The fact there's like 5 of them I've got to try and rally into the thing. Corral everyone in. Come on, everyone. Come on. Oh, you fucks. That's just... Get here when we've got a dodge available. And slow people. Dodge and slow. Then destroy, then the trap. There we go. bit of a ball ache on your own. Right? Wouldn't be too bad if I could just be aggroing and then someone else on the outside just shoots everything for me. Oh, he's got a shield back up. Oh, okay, that'll do. The chaos I was causing on top of the ogre was just, it just did it for me.
Brace yourself. This is their last assault.
Now the boss spawns in. And then after we defeat this boss, then have to run around about 5 minutes while it's empty to go and find. Oh dear. A lot going on. Ooh. I could just see the enemy getting its super ready. You beat Beowulf. Nice. Well done. I like it. Just clearly, yeah. Clearly it's been a nice full, like, hour and a half for you trying to do that. A lovely magic pixel. Everyone's favourite. But hey, doesn't matter how much health you had left. You had health and they didn't. That's what matters, right? At the end of the day, you're the only one with health left. There's a lot of enemies. Oh, nice. I was forgetting what you were, like, meaning for a second, and I was like, you gotta be. But, oh, yeah, Devil May Cry. Like, yeah, you get, like, actual combat ratings in Devil May Cry. He's not. He's good. I'm just, like, I play through Bayonetta and, you know, combat action games like that and stuff. Like, I have more experience with Bayo than Devil May Cry, but, like, or at least more recent experience anyway, but like, yeah, even playing Bayo, I'm like, cool, I got through the encounter. Well done me. Like, did I get an S plus or whatever you get in, I don't know, like, did I get a platinum in Bayonetta? Like, sometimes yes, a lot of the time no. Either way, I got through it. Just like, that's good enough. Did I get a bronze? A lot of the time, yeah. Try and take these out super quick. Oh, no! Never a good idea to. I only had one left to destroy. Well, come on. Let me punch somebody. The biggest problem with this build is, like, it basically works on getting, like, stacks of your punches going. So your first punch or two is, like, actually quite weak, and you've got to get, like, the third one roll in to be able to really get going. But then when you do, become that monster. So got our shit.
I can feel things calming down already. It's remarkable, the difference in this place without the witness's presence.
Imagine what the universe will feel like. A collective sigh of relief. And a moment of peace. And then the tumult of change.
Now I just have to try and look around for
I have no doubt you will abuse peace for your own
potential
gains you have in the past.
secret boss.
You do realize that you're the next target, don't you?
Oh no. Oh dear. Oh my.
Oh, this is it. Oh yes. Okay.
Who could have foreseen this?
Oh, that was painful. Go fuck yourself. No. Okay. Secret Keeper of the Witch Queen is vanquished. Excellent. How many hours have I got in this game? So are the Lucent Hive and Tormentors those enemies they showed off early on? Yes. There are all of those enemies. How many hours are on Xbox alone? I can show you the hours I've got on Xbox, but I've also played a few hundred hours on PS4. Progress on here, stats. 105 days playtime. So, add a few more, maybe a couple more weeks on top of that for PS4 playtime. I've spent just over a year. Not 6 months, no. Not even half a year, technically. Oh no, that's the same 6 months. Not even like a third of a year, technically. So maybe if I just move to the other part of the map, this person technically stays in my fire team. And this works, because people were implying, because it's only the first couple of hours and people aren't sure how it's going down yet, that you need at least 2 people in your fire team to make sure that this works. If you do it solo, then it wouldn't. But we got a secret boss after the second one. But we match made in one area and then never went to orbit. So this person's presumably just stayed in my fire team. So maybe that's why I'm finding the secret bosses still, even though I'm technically trying this solo. Yes, 105 days of Destiny is a lot of Destiny. And it's funny that you can tell like a lot of people that I have like played with on Xbox and are friends with on Xbox are just people who I enjoyed raiding with that I've added, because I'm like rank 9 or 10 out of my friends, I think it said there, like in terms of just pure hours on Destiny. I mean, like, what do you do for 87 days on Subnautica? I thought it was just like a one and done horror game. It's not like a games of service or anything, is it? I don't know much about Subnautica. I just thought it was like a story game finished like one time. Okay, so it's not like there is like stuff that you can continually keep doing, right? Okay. But like, I just thought it was literally like you play like a narrative story and the game ends type of game. I wasn't aware that it was something like you could just keep playing and getting experiences out of. It does make sense though, of like that's the kind of thing where it's like I can imagine, yeah, just swimming around and making bases would be like very just chill. Okay, cool, yeah. So, yeah, there is narrative in it, but you can't just keep going. Cool. Yeah, it's always nice, for me at least, when a game gives you just a world that you enjoy living in, and you can continue to just like past the end of the game, go and just enjoy being in that world. Like, I think one as a kid that I just enjoyed being in a lot was Wind Waker, and like there were only a limited amount of like side quests and hot pieces and stuff in that game, like, but a lot of the time just I'd get an itch to go back and just enjoy being in Wind Waker, just sailing around for a while. It is admittedly nicer nowadays, but you know, a lot of games just kind of give you like an actual potential just like continuous game to play, whereas like, you know, there wasn't much for me to do in Wind Waker, but sometimes I just enjoy going and sailing around as a kid, because like, you know, back when I had like 3 GameCube games at a time to play on, it was like there weren't necessarily many other things to do other than just like start the game again or go and walk around the world that I've already played through. A lot nicer when I, you know, I got into like, you know, something like Minecraft where, hey, well, if you want to just continue to be in this world and have fun exploring, at least I've got like technically, well, I was playing the console version, which wasn't at the time, but it, like a near enough infinite experience, but it definitely was. The 360. It was actually cool. It was basically like if you imagine a map size, like one map on Minecraft, like when you make your own physical map and fill it out. If I remember rightly, the entire game world could fit in like 4 maps or maybe even 1 map. I can't quite remember the size. But like the PC version of Minecraft was like, yeah, it's completely fucking infinite. But I had a really bad laptop that literally ended up melting because I was trying to run Minecraft on it for too long, and the motherboard melted and fucked up the electronics on it. So then I ended up playing on the 360, and it was just like, oh, yeah, I can literally quite easily reach the end of the game world here, but it just meant that I had to get creative and make my world quite dense and all my buildings quite close. Like, all my different, like, you know, cities and villages had to be expanding up and down quite a lot and stuff. It's one of those of like, it made me play in a different way. You know, sometimes those limitations breed creativity. Oh, lovely. Yeah, I've forgotten about that part. You just constantly have draining out. Like, definitely for me, Devil May Cry 3 is one of those experiences where I'm like, yeah, man, I remember the fun bits of that game. Like, I remember the cool parts where you, like, do all the cool fun boss fights, and clearly the rest of that game I just... Oh no, I don't mean that it's not fun, but what I mean is, like, clearly my brain remembers, like, the highlights. Like, not to say those parts are necessarily bad, but, like, I've only played through it once. Only, like, you know, not, like, not when it came out or anything, but still a while ago at this point. Where, like, my brain is just like, hey, remember, like, the highlight parts of that game? It's not like a Carl where Carl could probably... Specifically with DMC3, I think he could, like, tell you fucking every single thing that happens in that game like the back of his hand. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I, like, wasn't 100% sure how much, like, Devil May Cry 1, 2, 3, 4 hold up, like, to people that aren't, you know, familiar with the series before and, like, don't have that nostalgia for it. But it's good to know that, like, it is still an enjoyable experience. Especially for the sake of, like, definitely worth the try for the sake of, like, the few quid that it goes on sale for each time. It's like, if it was like, oh, you know, is this game worth, like, 50 quid a pop? I'd be like, well, I don't know. But I can tell you that the trilogy of games is the fucking fiver. I don't know what I'm doing here. Collecting motes and dunking. Didn't even notice that I was collecting motes. I was just punching. I think this is positive. Where am I meant to be going? Really got distracted here. Wasn't I on my way over here to go kill the specific enemies? Are they up there? I think I started a different, separate public event trying to find this enemy. I'm meant to be taking this pyramid key over here to finish this one. Yeah, 5 games for... Yes, I really disliked 1 at first, and I had played 2 or 3 or both before I tried 1, and was just like, man, I'm really not enjoying this. And eventually I stuck with it, and I think it does get better, but like, yeah, 1 is like definitely the one where they were like figuring that genre out. I mean, you know, let's not forget that it started out as fucking Resident Evil and kind of invented its own new genre, pretty much. You can feel that they didn't know really what they were doing yet. Yeah, 3 is where, like, it went from, you know, good to great / fucking fantastic. Yeah, I think, like, you know, Devil May Cry 2 isn't necessarily a bad game, it's just, like, more that it's a bad Devil May Cry game, right? It's like, it just went from like, oh, here's like a character action game to, oh, well, what do you do with it for the sequel? Like, oh, basically make it so that you can just shoot your way through with guns because the combat was hard. Okay. It's just like, the combat is there, but is not necessary anymore for the experience. Devil May Cry, the first one, was a prototype of RE4 that they decided was way too action heavy, and they made it into its own game. Yeah. That's like the origins of Devil May Cry. Just like, hey, this is not a bad game at all. This is actually really fucking cool. But this can't be Resident Evil. This is not a Resident Evil title. Like, we can't let this be RE4 because, you know, it's not a horror game anymore. This is a fucking action game. No, it was a juggling mechanic in, like, I want to say it was Onimusha. Kind of similar how to, like, combos in Street Fighter 1 were actually, like, not really meant to be a thing, and people figured out how to like confirm hits into one another with buffers and stuff, and they were like, oh, this is unintentional, but this makes the game way better. And I can't remember whether that was like Street Fighter 1 or Street Fighter 2, and they leaned into it. I don't think it did. Yeah, I'd have to like look it up again, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't anything to do with like Resident Evil, and it was actually like them working on Onimusha that the juggling stuff came in. Because like both Capcom games, yeah, I may be getting myself mixed a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, yeah, it did work out for Ori and Devil May Cry. Like, hey, we're still getting one great game. You got RE4 being RE4, which, you know, worked out for the better in the end anyway, and then also just the basically an entire new cool genre in itself. Oh, Onimusha Warlords, right? Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of doubly insane that, like, Devil May Cry turned out to be what it did. Like, a failed RE4 game. Well, not failed, but, you know, a transitioned RE4 title that then got its own game that then used, like, this glitch from another Capcom title to, like, help with the combat. Crazy how shit comes together sometimes. How many motes have I got put into this thing? A lot. As we've been talking, like, Shadow's only recently got into Devil May Cry with, like, every fucking game being on sale all of the time, and, like, they've been enjoying 1 and 3, so definitely, again, like, I think 1 is, like, a bit of a weird one, and definitely can feel them like still figuring out as I say, but it's a great series, and like if nothing else, just recommending going from 3 onwards to people. I think still quite an easy recommendation. But yeah, wait for them to be on sale, because they're on sale like every other month, super cheap, and you can get like the HD trilogy of 1, 2, and 3 for a few. Okay, yeah. Oh, clearly. The darkness energy. It's just hurting me everywhere. Oh god. Want to heal? Just the ground is murder. Oh wow, yeah, okay. Well, I mean, if you like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, you'll probably get on with Devil May Cry. However, if you didn't like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, you really might not get on with them. Just realised it's been a long time since I drank anything. Oh, I missed. Okay. Oh god! No, the sausages! Just keep punching. Stayed alive, it's okay. Just literally as I'm like in the darkness, it's like, no, you shall not see anything. It's on a monthly rotation. It's funny how like just it's that weird thing of like not knowing really anyone giving a shit about Metal Gear Rising for the longest amount of time, and then obviously Carl playing it every single week, and now the amount of people that like speak to, it's just like, oh yeah, you know, I play, or I'm trying to play, or I'm going to play Metal Gear Rising. Like, Carl started influence it. Like, I'm legit surprised at this point that, like, hasn't made any strides to, like, you know, reach out to Platinum or whatever, or Konami, and be like, hey, you know, I'm essentially the most influential person, or the most dedicated person, at least, to this game. I mean, like, yeah. The, oh. I just had, like, a moth on my neck. Or just the surprise of it than anything. It's like, oh, I can feel something crawling on me. That's the worst thing, is, like, literally, like, I can't see any of my window because it's covered in curtains. Like, thick thermal curtains to, like, block out the light and sound for the sake of recording. But I've got my window open, and I've got a ring light on near where the curtain is. And it doesn't matter how much of my, like, life is blocked out from the outside. the moment I open like one window a little bit in here, just they still find the way in. Like, what, you have a ring light? Is like, I don't care how much you have blocked the ring light's existence. If there's a ring light on in this room, I will find it. I will find you. Which game are you talking about being edgy as fuck? What a good hack and slash game. Oh, the reboot. Definitely pick up the special edition, because as Cole pointed out to me when I was like, no man, that game plays well, he's like, no. They fixed a lot of problems with it in special edition, whereas a lot of things didn't make sense at first. Like, there was a lot of shit that, like, where, like, your angel abilities didn't work against demons at all, and vice versa, I think, or something he said. I think awful portrayal of most characters, edgy as fuck, awful fucking horrible sniper scene that you've probably heard Carl talk about in the past. But ultimately, at least in the special edition, that gameplay is fucking solid. And like, if you just want the action, like, that is still one of the best playing Devil May Cry games. I argue that the only one that plays better is 5. The rest of it shouldn't have been a Devil May Cry game, but good action game. Like, this again, my memory is from, like, I played it once, then replayed it a couple of times as the special edition, and clearly my memory is of the special edition, because I give that game a lot of credit, where according to Carl, who played it even more than I have, like, I give that original game more credit than it deserves, because I've just got the memory of, like, the good playing version in my head. But yeah, again, a game that you could also probably pick that one up super cheap. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I did admittedly try to say that maybe just pick up 1, 2, and 3 and wait for a sale down the line. In my defense, I told you to commit to 1, 2, and 3 on the cheap. And said if you enjoy them, then pick up others. Yes, that is the thing that's how they get you right. It's like, yeah, but if it turns out that you did like 1, 2, and 3, then buying 4 is more of a pain and like expensive, and at that point is it like just worth the extra few quid to commit to 1, 2, 3, and 4. But yeah, if you totally just want one character action game that is better playing than most of the other Devil May Cry's, DMC plays very well. Or DMC Special Edition. Yeah. If you want another game where Dante is like cool and Virgil is cool, not that game. Not that game. But
this is it. They're going to throw
the Ninja Gaiden series is where, like, I draw the line. That shit is hard, and like, then watching Cole play through it, of like 2, show me what some of the harder modes are like. It's like, nah, fuck that shit. Absolutely fuck that shit. Like, I like it, but I think I probably enjoy that game more watching Carl play it than me playing it. Unless I just played through it on easy, which at that point, like, you're not really getting the actual good experience out of it, because then combos don't really matter, and like enemies die within a couple of hits, so what's the fucking point? But again, ultimately any of those like stylish action games that are playing, like, you're playing them to do the cool shit and learn the cool combos. Like, most of the time you're not playing for the story necessarily. Like, some of them don't have bad stories. Like, I enjoy elements of each Bayonetta story. And I hate other elements of it, but there are bits that I really enjoy out of Bayonetta, like more Bayonetta than anything else. You can go fuck himself. Oh, oh. Oh, there's a lot of enemies. Block. Press. That is like the worst ability that enemies have in this game. Like, talking about just wanting to have cool fucking action fun. The fact that enemies can suppress all of your abilities for seconds at a time. Like, yeah, it's like, it's on you for getting hit by that big pressing hit, but goddamn. Oh no, and then just grabs me. Like, the moment I got my abilities back, I was just grabbed anyway, for fuck's sake. And then I'm suppressed again, like, oh, this is bad. This boss fight is annoying. Okay, do I have to step on all of them? Is that what I'm meant to be doing? I've forgotten how to do this one. I think that removes the shield. There's an Xbox on 3 already, man. That game, like, goes fucking fast. Oh, come on! Come on! Oh! Like, every enemy in this arena can potentially suppress me right now. This is like the most infuriating combination of two enemy types. Flying enemies that suppress, and then a boss that can also just jump around the map and suppress or grab me. As it always is the case, fuck those flying enemies. Target is vulnerable. The target can go fuck itself. Just spending my life unable to punch. Punch things. Everyone can just stop suppressing me. That'd be a lovely time. Do the clever thing. Focus on all the flying enemies first, because then at least only one enemy can suppress me. Oh my god, now the arena's killing me. This is a really nasty boss fight on your own. You fucker can just go do one. I've not got anything to do with you. Oh. Like, Tormentors are just, like, they are a good enemy in the way that they are a terrible enemy. Like, they are super just powerful and frustrating to fight. But, like, it makes them a good enemy in the sense of, like, it feels good to beat them all. But when you're on the back foot against them, like, goddamn, the suppression and the grabbing and super attacks that it does, like, oh, it's a frustrating fight, but it is satisfying when you manage to beat her out. So then this is... Like, the worst part about this when you are in a mission is, like, they can do that grab, and then before you have a chance to run to cover, they can chase you down with a homing attack. Like, they can just almost instantly launch a homing attack that follows you and chases you. Like, yeah, homing attack, yeah, that's what homing attacks do. But, like, they can just almost instantly do that out of the grab. So even though they nearly always leave you on 1 HP on, like, the legendary campaign and stuff, they then nearly always follow it up with, like, an instant attack that you basically can't get away from anyway. Which is fine when you're doing it in, like, a public area like this. It's infuriating when you're doing it on content where, like, if you wipe, then you have to go from checkpoint. This is it now. A base is enemy. Oh, nope. Just get brimstone. I want to punch it instead. Get my revenge. Oh, nice. Get that. You'll love it on the third try. What loot?
Every victory here brings us closer to healing the traveler of all
Where
the
might
harm that the witness has done
the
to
hidden
it.
enemy be this time?
I yearn to see the fruits of our labors.
It could take a long time. Probably years for this work to be finished. What's been done to the travelers is nothing short of
They
catastrophic.
weren't in lost sectors. They were just kind of like away in cave areas.
Perhaps Idol will live in an age as of yet unimagined.
The light provides.
No, that is. It's both. We found them. Volatile resin. Oh shit. Yep, I didn't finish her on the ghost. Secret Keeper of the Witch Queen's Banner. Hey. Oh, nice. Like, convinced you pretty early on to download it. Hey. What's... So people are saying you can't do it solo. Thanks. Green lights appear on them. Or is it saying green lights appear somewhere? Give over. You. Doesn't appear to be here. Maybe it could be don't imagine I'm gonna do that all. Maybe that's blooming where like current daily activity is. Says
We
I've
have
got
multiple
to.
enemies inbound to your position, Guardian.
Ah, the green light. But it seems as though the only thing I need 2 players for is when I unlock the mission. Which if I only need to do that, I can cheat. Just PlayStation. Add them to my fire team. Cool.
Your brother's conquests got a path towards the final
I've got 7 minutes. Keep moving.
When you've finished pouring the poison in his ear.
Not my poison.
We see your doubts. You speak them to Oryx.
Oryx, what have you been up to, mate?
Doubts? After all this time, you think I have doubts?
Remember your sisters. Little Savannah. Remember the syzygy.
What changed the motion of our moons, my weakness?
You cried out. As your brother did. As your sister did. Into the darkness.
Oh,
You are
no.
the answer they want. We are the answer they seek.
Ah, here we go. A lot of health. Take refracted light. This does not seem like a very long amount of time to do this. Why am I taking it? Good. No, I can't. Oh, okay. Just about made that jump. Based on my time chasing down flying now. Where are we going? What are we doing? Holy fuck. I am... As people can probably tell, I'm just in like panic mode because I'm on a timer. So I am just trying to focus on my dodges and my punches. Why am I still suppressed? What the fuck? I'm not. I wasn't. Didn't have a melee. I'm not used to that feeling. Fuck yourself. Okay, we still got 2.5 minutes. Too bad. Nope, 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 don't, no. The helpful cave. Come on, there we go. Got both yourself, we don't need. Taking it to the same place. Wizard. Killing. A lot easier to make that jump back down.
Don't make me proud.
I also agree that Cayde is a dual destiny. There are not enough players for us to please choose a different item. Okay, 1995. Oh shit, son. 1968 right now. Oh dear. Don't think they wanted people playing this so early. Well then, I think that is probably a good place for me to leave it. And I now need to go and steal a PlayStation and get another player logged in, apparently. So that's going to take me a while to go get set up. I unfortunately cannot do this on stream because I'm a little old. I mean, I don't even know if I can, like, technically drag Jenna's character into this because they haven't done all this grinding and stuff. I wonder if both like people need to have done all this. I am going to check out what the fuck that marker is before we log out though. But yeah, if anyone watching was curious of how to find the exotic class item, then, you know, you can do it all solo up until this point. Did you only start DMC 3 today? Oh shit, can't go that way. Or is it just look like the wrong one? Here we go. Oh, you beat 3 in a row today. Yeah, for some reason in my head was like, well, that means you beat the first 3 bosses today. It's like, not necessarily, no. That can just mean 3 bosses. Oh, don't die now. Okay, then. Where's this? The fuck is this marker for? Where are you taking me? I haven't accidentally just told my characters. Yeah, I just marked another quest. I just thought I hadn't unmarked a quest from earlier. So this is a really random fucking place for the game to be taking me out. Yeah, no worries. I'm heading out to go figure that and see if I can do this mission completely underleveled while playing 2 characters at the same time. So that's going to be an off-stream adventure for myself while I try and figure the fuck out how to do that. Yes, thank you everyone for joining, and thank you for just chatting the shit with me while I do some new Destiny content. But I'll be streaming some more Destiny on Thursday, and then we'll be returning to regular schedule, probably just completely normal from next week. Because I appreciate that, like, most people aren't here to watch me play Destiny, but, like, you know, I'm just wanting to get more content done right now. I don't. My brain is, like, fully Destiny geared. It doesn't have time to be worrying about Zelda or Pokemon this week. It's just, like, play some more fucking Destiny, Lucas. But yes, that is currently the insight in my brain. I'm Destiny pilled. Well, yeah, I hope you enjoy getting back in as well, Red Hot, but obviously, like, I'll be in Discord to talk Destiny along the way, and let us, you know, tune back in on Thursday and let us, yeah, all for joining, and a lovely day, evening you are.